Hi everyone, hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world today. We are going to, in this video, take a look at Coyote Canyon. And we're going to do a practice run, show you all the tips and tricks that you need to know to be able to get your 3 stars on Coyote Canyon. First hole, we want to go for a roll disc, a 10-speed works. This flow disc is much like a musket roll disc. I think we can probably get away with that. Usually put my pointer up right about there. And in a wind like this, I might put just a little bit of an anhyzer on that. And let's see how it goes. Yeah, even then the wind brought it back pretty strongly. "16 meters, that's going to rise up a bit. Let's see if we can use this windbreak musket that we have acquired. Probably will work. Same placement on our arrows here, and in this wind might put just a little bit of a hyzer on that. This little bush here doesn't seem to interfere with much. I think we at 8 meters, we could probably just toss that in. I think we can do better though. Let's try one more time. Let's try the flow disc one more time. I think we should be able to bring this in a little better. All right, so that's the play on that one. All right, hole number 2. And this is a fun hole when you first start playing it, especially if you don't have some good distance drivers, either the light or the skip disc. It's a little hard to get your birdie on, but if you've got either this distance driver with a skip attribute or a light disc, we can get around this little barrier here. If you're using the skip distance driver, I usually put my pointer right about there and put just a hair of a hyzer on that, not much. And in some wind conditions, maybe nothing. Let's see how this goes. I'm skipping over this and down into the area there. And we've got a line on the basket, but it is a little far. And we don't have much to work with. The 7 won't quite make it, and the flow disc, let's just go with that, I guess. The flow disc is going to kind of go to the right a little bit and lift up. So I usually bring my pointer down to about ground level and bring it over and then pull straight back. Yep. Sometimes that'll go in, and that'll give you an eagle. But we get our birdie. Okay, let's try the other way, and that is if you have a distance driver with a light attribute, extra glide light, you can usually put in your pointer there and pulling almost straight down, maybe a little bit of a hyzer on that. You should be able to get up and over. And that even puts us a little closer to the basket, and I think we might even be able to get away with the Explorer on this shot. Let's come down a bit more. And maybe just something like that. Right over the top of it. Try it again. With a 2-speed wind in the other direction, let's see if this strive will make it over. The problem with these light discs is that they can sometimes struggle against even a 2-speed wind. Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother that strive at all. Alright, let's try this Explorer again. This time let's not bring it down all the way. Pull back just a little bit, since the last one went right over the basket. Yeah. Anyway, just know that sometimes your second shot will go in, and it's nice to get the odd eagle. But let's move on. All right, hole number 3. This is a fun hole. You can either go a safe, conventional way and usually get a fairly easy birdie, or if you're feeling lucky and you want to risk it, there's a way to get an eagle on this. We'll show you both ways. First of all, let's go the conventional safe route. Let's use our Ballista Pro for that, I think. Let's slide over and let's put a little bit of an anhyzer on that. The wind should also help us take it to the right. And from here, you can take almost any disc because you've got a great backstop there just behind the basket. So anything that's going to get close to 81 meters will work here. And this flow disc, if we play it right, might even go in. Let's see, something like that. Nope. But you could have used almost any disc there for your second shot, and then your third shot goes in, gives you a birdie. Let's take a look at the other way, and that is use your big skip distance driver. And depending on the wind, you can put your pointer about there. And I would say put a little bit of an anhyzer on that. The idea that what you want to do is have it bounce off that island and get into the landing area there. Let's show you what happens when you miss it and go into the river like this. It leaves you with a fairly easy throw-in, so you still end up getting your birdie even after you've missed your opportunity to get the eagle. Because you only lose 1 point here, if you get this throw-in, it still gives you your birdie. So the fact that you end up getting the same score that you would by going the safe route, it makes it more tempting to try for the eagle. Let's give it another go. Yeah, this is more what we're looking for. Up and over. And come back for that lovely eagle. So the key is, if you have a good memory when you're doing the practice run, is to do this over and over again in different wind conditions. And if you've got a good memory, remember how much anhyzer you have to put on that in order to get the results you're looking for. All right, let's move on. Now, when you first played this hole, you probably tried a number of different routes to get over to the basket area, but the only real play is to go through the little opening here, and you can use almost any disc from 10 speed up to get through here. Every disc is going to fly just a little bit different, so best thing to do is decide which disc you're going to use that you have in your bag and just what you have to do. Most of the discs you can just pull straight down and manage to get through there. Sometimes it'll hit a wall but just bounce off of it like that. And this ballista comes in nice, kind of like it. But if you don't have the ballista, let's see how even the big skip rive here, I'm sure will work. It'll just take you way past the basket. But there's this hill here, it just usually bounces up and comes back and leaves you with a fairly decent throw-in distance. Let's see what happens if we use like what would be the musket or the flow disc here. I guess that does leave us a little short. Let's maybe try the, I can't remember how the recoil plays here. Should bounce nicely. Gets us down there. So you can see you have a lot of options to get through that hole and get your birdie. Occasionally you'll surprise yourself, you'll ace this as you try different discs. All right, hole number 5, and I remember when I first started playing this game, this was a frustrating hole for me. I would end up getting like a bogey on it quite often. But as you build up your bag and you get some distance drivers, especially a good skip distance driver, you will find that you can actually get an eagle on this. Let's see, let's put our pointer about there, put a little bit of an anhyzer on that. It's not quite the elegant drive that I would have liked to show you, but it brings us up close enough. I think we'll probably be able to get this. When you're shooting up, I usually put the pointer near the top rim of the basket and then just pull down about the same way that you normally would. And in it goes. Oops, a spit out. Look at that. I haven't had a spit out in a long time, since they tweaked the game. There were so many people complaining about all the spit outs they were getting that they tweaked the game, and now you hardly ever see a spit out. Until now. Let's replay this and see if we can't do a little better. Oh, what a lovely wind to deal with. This is going to make it difficult to get an eagle, but it will show you what can happen with a wind like this. It usually brings the disc around the wrong way. All right, that's even worse when you hit a cactus like that. But we should be able to still pull off a birdie here. 70 meters. Let's grab our Explorer here. Do something like about there and swing around this pillar. And from here, can usually get this, and we'll end up with birdie at least. But let's do it again and see if we can't get a little kinder wind this time. I've been bouncing around so much with different distance drivers, I have trouble remembering just how much hyzer I have to put on this. Okay, this is coming in much better. This is where you want to be. And bring it up near the top rim of the basket and pull back as normal. And in it goes for the eagle. So that's what you want to do. Learn what you have to do with your distance driver to how much hyzer you have to put on it, and you'll be good. You'll be golden. You'll get that eagle. All right, hole number 6. And what you want to do here is change it from backhand to forehand and pull out some kind of a musket disc that you might have in your bag. This windbreak might not bring us as close to the basket as I would normally like, but put a little bit of an anhyzer on that so it goes off to the left a little bit and then comes swinging back and slides up to the basket. That's kind of what we're looking for. The windbreak does fine. I'm pleased. I usually use a musket that has a extra glide attribute for this hole, but the windbreak did fine. Let's try the lots disc on this. Switch it to forehand again. This, I think, the lots would probably be the equivalent of the musket with the extra glide. Interesting. And I think we could also do this with the flow disc as well here. So covering all our bases here for whatever you might have in your bag. Yeah, that brings us down nicely. And so I think you can see that with a little practice, this is a fairly easy birdie hole. Let's go on to hole number 7, see what we got here. Okay, the Rive disc really works nicely here, but any distance driver with a big skip attribute will work. Some better than others, though. There's some distance drivers that just don't like to fade off to the right much, and you end up getting caught up in this sandy hill. But the Rive does great. Let's try the Strive Extra Glide. I think it should go the distance. Yeah. So that one works too if you have that. Let's show you another line. It's not as consistent, but it's maybe more fun. And that is to come around to the left here. Slide over maybe. And what you want to do is put quite a bit of an anhyzer on that so that it goes around this column on the other side and comes over to the basket the other way. I haven't done it myself, but I've seen other people post videos of how they have aced it going that way. Let's try it one more time. And quite a bit of an anhyzer. Whoa, just snuck through there. All right, well, we did okay. next hole. All right, hole number 8. A lot of people like to try and go for their ace here, and I don't get it very often, actually, I'll admit, but I do try for it every time because it's nice when you do get it. Now, just a little tip, if you're going for the ace, it's a good idea to use a disc that has a roll attribute so it doesn't slide away on you when it misses the basket. Now, this flow disc has a roll attribute, so we can give that a try. The idea is to put your pointer down about this far on the bank, and then depending on the direction and speed of the wind, make your adjustments laterally. So what you pretty much have to do is decide on which disc you have in your bag that might come close to working without sliding or bouncing away on you, skipping away, and then just practice with that disc. Let's see how this flow flies. Okay. That goes a little further than what I would like. But the nice thing about being in the practice mode, you can just try this over and over again. It's going to remember the wind and direction, the placement of the pointer, and now we can just easily make some adjustments. I'm going to bring it down some more and try again. I like to do it when I'm pulling straight down. That's the easiest for me to remember. So now we need to probably make the adjustment to bring it down even further. Sometimes when it's a strong 3 wind like this, it will lift up more than a 2-speed wind. And maybe just over just a bit. Let's try that. Yep, lifted up right at the last second there. So the flow disc is, it certainly looks like it's possible. It's just going to have to practice with it a little bit. Oh, that one almost went in. Let's maybe try the windbreak musket here. It's not a roll attribute, but the windbreaks don't slide too far. They certainly don't skip away, which is nice. With that wind direction, let's maybe try it about there. Pull straight down. And close, but no cigar. Okay. The thing about this musket is it doesn't have the accurate attribute. And when you have the accurate attribute, your shots are going to be more consistent. What happens is there's not as much wobble when you pull back. And so it means that each time you play it, it's going to be fairly consistent. So practicing like this with a disc that doesn't have the accurate attribute is a little bit futile, because every time you pull that back, it's going to fly a little bit different because of the wobble. So that's the downside to that. I don't know what we could do with this Lots disc. It has the accurate attribute, but I'm afraid it's going to fly away on us. Yeah, it goes a little further away and makes the comeback a little harder. Let's see. Not you, Siri. I said, let's see. All right, well, you get the idea. I guess I should probably actually get a birdie on this before we move on. But the trick is to practice. Decide what disc you're going to use to go for an ace here, and then just keep practicing so you get a feel of what you need to do in any wind condition. Yeah, that flow disc is a lot like a roller. Well, I guess it is a roll disc, actually. All right, hole number 9. A good distance driver with a big skip attribute is what you like to start out with on this. The rive is perfect, really. You can really get a long ways down the fairway. Can we call this a fairway? Looks like we got stuck behind a rock here, but I think we can slide over and still be okay. For your second disc, you can use almost any distance driver here again. We can just go ahead and use the rive again, and it'll bring us in, maybe even bounce back and go in, which is always nice when it does. But I'm usually happy when I get a birdie on this one. At least content, not necessarily happy. I do prefer to get the eagle. But any big skip distance driver that you might have in your bag will work here. The main thing is, well, let me finish this up and then show you a couple things before we wrap up this video. They've actually made this hole a lot easier than it used to be. When they first designed this course, this was challenging to get your birdie on. But I think enough people complained that they made it easier. Let's maybe try with our, what else do we have here? Our ballista. I don't know how far we're going to get down the road with this one. Okay, well, this is fine. What I wanted to show you is that if you're back here a ways, when you're going for your second shot, let's maybe use our strive disc here. Bring your pointer all the way down to about there, because if you don't, you're going to end up hitting the top part of that arc, or arch, I guess I should say. Even bringing it down that much, you saw it almost lifted up and hit that. All right, well, I think that's about all I can show you for Coyote Canyon. When we come back, we'll do our 3-star run on this. We'll hope to see you back for that. If you haven't already done so, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. We'll be coming out with a lot more tips and tricks for Disc Golf Valley. And we'll see you next time here. So long for now.